Hello, everybody. This is Di, Antinatalist. And for obvious reasons, I'm just going to show a partial, facial video here today. But 3 days ago, I saw something that really, really made me feel so sad and so feeble and old. It was a really, really nice sunny day, and I live near a high school, and I had pulled up to Whole Foods to get some food, and the running team or the athletic team or whatever, an extracurricular cluster of, young females, I guess seniors, juniors, were running. And usually I see the males. Usually, it's the young males. And, I don't identify with 16, 17-year-old boys. They're just, to me, they're just like, skinny, pimply, hormone-driven beings. But when I saw the young girls, I related to them. And I used to love jogging so very much. I used to jog probably from 16 to age 25. And I saw myself as, I feel just, sometimes as young, not bodily or physically, but mentally I'm sharp and I understand things, and I have no loss of my cognitive ability. In fact, I think I'm a little bit too sharp with my cognitive ability and my empathy. But I saw those girls as me about 42 years ago. And they were happy and laughing. Pretty much all of them had their hair in ponytails. And they were, that was just me 42 years ago. And although I could jog, I could, for a little ways, but I couldn't run. Nothing of the level and the skill that they have. And it's very hurtful and sorrowful to just lose the things that you took for granted. And it didn't really, this wouldn't have bothered me so much maybe 10 years ago, but at this point, almost 60, there's no going back. There's, there's such a smaller dimension of recovery or increase in endurance or strength or even weight loss that I could muster at 59. So basically, those days are gone. And I mean, I've substituted things with painting and reading and activism and my dogs and my rescues, my chickens, my prior cats, my prior rats, my beloved dogs. But youth is over. I mean, it is permanently over, and it escaped me. And I look at myself as the same girl as the 17-year-olds. It's just that I just feel crippled, or like my hands are tied. I'm just like them, though, which is very sad because I know what I've lost. And, I mean, now there's pills to take and creams to put on and aches and pains and operations and doctor visits and just complete and utter bullshit for no reason. Now, I've mentioned before that my dad he died some 10 years or so ago. And there was no tears shed at all for him. And there will be no tears shed for my mother, who is somewhere in her early 80s living. But you know what's hurt so bad about seeing those young girls smiling, running, and happy with their pigtails just blowing in the wind, and on a perfect sunny day, which we rarely have many of. Probably the most hurtful thing is that my parents have no empathy, shared no concern, or put forth any effort to make me feel that life was a raw deal, and they put me here to suffer, age, and die. That's what is most hurtful. They just would not give a damn. And my father would probably give the least damn. And, I mean, if I were to even see my mother today and talk to her about antinatalism, she would say, well, I took care of you when you were young. Or, you had a good childhood. Or, yeah, we did the best that we could. You had a nice house to live in. But she put me into existence to bleed, sweat, and cry. To feel physically bad and to feel emotionally bad. It's been about 3 days since I saw the teenage girls running, and it was just so cute to see them, like happy with their abilities. But those abilities were so short-lived. I mean, at this point, I believe, if I saw a bear, I probably could outrun the bear, yeah, for a short distance, or, I don't know, if my life depended on it, or I was, in an accident, or maybe if I had to save an animal, maybe I could jumpstart my body, my energy level, motivation, mobility, legs, endurance, strength to, outrun the bear. But maybe not long enough to actually escape. So I have lost youth, endurance, and anyway, there's no way to ever recover any of that. I wish I felt as good as I did when I was 45. I felt young at 45. That was about 15 years ago. If I was 17, I would think 45 was pretty damn old. But there is just no point in having your own children. I saw a pregnant lady today going into a medical clinic, and she was followed by her boyfriend or husband or whatever. She was about 32, and I had a mask on, of course, and I just whispered under my mask, "You'll be sorry. You'll be sorry." And if she's not sorry, she has no empathy whatsoever. She's like a rock. And if she's not sorry, her child certainly will. Imagine getting pregnant, even during the pandemic, which she did. Her and her boyfriend did. She was about, beginning of the second trimester. But one thing that really hurts me and will always hurt me is that my parents gave no damns. Not about my future. Not about any pain. Not about loneliness that I would feel in life. They just left me in the cold. They didn't take care of any college, to speak of. Didn't pay my rent. Didn't buy me a car. But I was a good kid and deserved so much better. And I don't even have parents that would feel responsible or guilty for what they've done to me. And that really, really hurts. I suffer alone. I will, feel alone when I'm dying, even though I possibly could be with someone. But my parents, my intelligent, educated parents, did not think about the harms that would come to their pretty little girl's life. The dilemmas that she would face. The struggling in school to make good grades. the bullies in 5th grade who envied her because she had long hair, and long hair was fashionable and not everybody could grow long hair. They weren't with me, and I fell in the playground, or I had my first they didn't feel the pain of my first operation, or will they my last? They don't feel my fear or um coping with eventual demise. I mean, what did they think? Did they think their baby would not suffer or be hurt? My God, how can you just drop a child into this world without thinking what they are going to endure? Now, my mom was about 21. I guess my dad was about 23 when I was born. They knew they had deaths in the family. They knew school was hard. They knew the sun was hot and the snow was cold. And they knew work was unpleasant and unavoidable. And they knew that the grass had to be mowed. And then, when I'm born, she knew diapers had to be changed, babies had to be fed. And she also knew babies cried. My dad wanted more kids than she did, but she didn't. She had one more. And even the struggles, or the diapering, or the feeding, or, the crying that she saw with me as a baby, her and my dad decided to have another one. How smart was that? Not very smart, were they? So that's what makes me very, very sad right now, because I look back at the years that I have lost for good. And I don't even care about appearance. I could give two shits. If my hair went gray tomorrow, I would dye it pink. I mean, if I was all wrinkled, I could care less. Or maybe, get some sort of tuck here and there. But it is the fact of life being nothing but a struggle, frustration, hurts, losses, and pain for 59 and a half years. And every decade was spent with some setback or some trauma or some, death in the family. Like my very favorite relative, who was basically the first one to die. When my dog died. And there was an event around my dog dying that made me even sadder. And it's just so pathetic. I don't know that I don't even know what really happened. I came home from a visitation from my mother, and I was told that my childhood dog died. And my stepmother said that she buried her under my favorite tree a peach tree that I planted as a little girl in Texas. So the next day, I went out to look, and it's just unbelievable what she did. My stupid, evil stepmother did not bury her under the peach tree. It wasn't even a fruit tree. How could she not have known that? I just felt so wronged, so irreplaceably tormenting. And I didn't even get to see her. I don't know. I don't even know the story behind her death. I don't know what happened, and I can't even be sure that she died naturally. I don't even know. I did not trust my parents. But they've left me into a world, just dropped me into a harmful world. They didn't give me proper tools to manage, to cope, to find employment, to do future things like, keep bank accounts, get credit cards, put oil in the car, that sort of thing. I mean, I was just totally unprepared. But I felt that they were just, I don't even know why they wanted kids. It was just a want. Maybe, if you look into a bakery and you, maybe you see a chocolate cupcake or something, it looks really good, and you really want it, and you buy it, and you eat it, and you're disappointed, and then you feel, stuffed, because, you don't feel, it's not what you expected, and I'm pretty sure parenting was not what my parents expected, and it's not what a lot of parents expect. There's a lot of regretful parents out there. I got zero inheritance from my dad or my grandmother because my stepmother was in charge of their estate. She was the last to live. And my mom will probably leave her money to the church. I was just so deeply harmed in this life. I mean, just left, just to defend myself, sink or swim. And that's what hurts so much. If only my mom or dad had felt any guilt, if they displayed any guilt or regret, if they loved me enough not to have had me. Because I don't look forward to the later years, which are just around the corner. Enjoyment is less and less every day, it seems. There's just more to deal with when you're older, and everything is harder. Running up a step of stairs is not fun anymore. It's actually, difficult. You feel weaker. You don't feel, you feel more vulnerable. Yeah. I mean, I could, there's no way I could defend myself against a couple of young girls if I had to. I don't expect that to happen, but I'm guessing men my age would certainly, feel like more vulnerable if they were to be bullied or suddenly attacked by, teenagers or young 20-year-old boys. But I don't know. Consider whether your parents have any feelings for you and what you will have to endure in your lifetime. If they love you, then they have already told you that they are sorry. And they will try everything in the future to make your life the very best, which means supplying you with some sort of trust fund, large inheritance, pay your bills, give you emotional support. I mean, if you go in for, some open heart surgery or kidney transplant or something, they're there by your side every step of the way. And they tell you that they should have felt your pain and not you, because you didn't consent nor give permission to be placed into existence. And existence is never safe. It's never been safe for any child. Thank you for watching my video.